and the student intifadas here, and University of Penn, Columbia, Harvard, they were actually really big. And now we're talking, and I'm hoping that maybe you can talk a little bit about that, because we saw 2 days ago the indictments that came down from Nessel against the students of Michigan, and what's going on around the country. So I think it's actually really important to dig deeper into that, because this is going around the country, and it has to affect us in how we are going to be able to do any work whatsoever, because it's not only investigated only in the past and what has happened before, but more is coming on in what's going on in the future. So I'm just wondering if you can just explore a little bit more about that. And I know you want to get to talk about what's coming, but I think this is also important, because also what's happening in the elections, and the two, at least the two main two-party system in the US, and I'll name it, are also competing in who is going to actually impose more suppression and more, and it's not only about who's going to impose more suppression, how it connects to Palestine and how it connects to satisfying the Zionist donors, but also the policies, the powers that be, and so on. But I think if we can talk just about also the suppression and move into that, if it would be possible to discuss that, and then we can go into it, because I think also what's happening in Michigan is also really important, because all the students and all the suppression that's going on requires a lot of intervention. So would you please humor me?
Of course. And then I am going to take just a few minutes to talk about the election too, because it's on my mind a lot. All right, briefly with Palestine rights, and by the way, if there's any lawyers here who would like to help us sue this jerk for libel, that would be wonderful. So there's a guy named Mark Rowan. He's one of the big donors. He's a billionaire. He's a major predator. He's known in the business world, they call him the Antichrist, because he's that bad of a person. But this guy, I'm sure they have their spies in here, feel free to, you know. But this guy went on national television and said that they were calling it the Hate Fest, not the Literature Festival. And they drove around the campus with these horrible billboards with pictures of myself, pictures of Salman Abu Sitta, all of these amazing, Randa Abdel Fattah, all these amazing Palestinian thinkers, and they put us like basically with horns on our heads and calling us Nazis and jihadists and whatnot. So that was one of the doxing, horrible defamation things they did. But this guy, Mark Rowan, went on national television and was saying that we were calling for the genocide of Jews at this festival. Like, I mean, you know, that's what they imagine we say, you know what I mean? It's just, but of course it's a lie. That's not what we do. We have better things to talk about. But, you know, they get away with this stuff because they have money, because they have access, because they're not afraid, and it's a microcosm of what Israel gets to do, because they're not afraid, because they're not punished, they're not held accountable, and so they're committing the Holocaust of our time. And I also want to tell you too, I'm going to go back to Gaza, because I'm assuming you're all familiar with the Lancet study, correct? Right. 10 days before the Lancet study was published, I published a study. I put on my scientist hat in another life. That's what I used to do for a living. And I showed in a very scientific way how I came to an estimate of a range between 190,000 and 514,000 dead because of what Israel is doing. Of course, nobody listens to Palestinians when we speak, and it was ridiculed, and nobody took it seriously until the Lancet article came out, and suddenly it had a little bit more credence, but of course they still ignore it. And now Ralph Nader and some other scientists have come out and are talking about estimates in at least 300,000 Palestinians killed. As a matter of fact, I think it's higher, and I think when the dust settles, there will be at least 500,000 Palestinians dead, and then another 1 million maimed, and everybody's traumatized, everybody's messed up, like in horrific ways. This is, make no mistake, the Holocaust of our time. And the Democratic Party is funding it. So I get really, really upset when I hear Arabs and I hear Muslims talk about we have to vote for Kamala Harris. This lady says we don't want Trump. Listen to me. There are three white people burned themselves to death. They self-immolated. And I'm asking you to have enough self-respect to not go and vote for the Democratic Party. I need you guys, okay, settle down, sister. Every year, they put you in this position where you are terrified. Every election, they put you in this thing where you're terrified, and if you don't pull the red lever, or if you don't pull the blue lever, the world is going to implode. This is the mindset. They have conditioned the entire population into believing this. They have conditioned you all into voting out of fear, time and time again. I'm asking you to vote out of hope. We have another option. There are third parties. And how many of you think that it's a wasted vote to vote for a third party? It's okay. Raise your hands. A few of you. That's okay. I can't see you because I don't have my glasses on and I'm old, so I won't harass you over. How many of you are planning not to vote because you want to boycott the system? No. Okay, there's a few of you too. All right, first of all, to those of you who think that you not voting is a way to reject the system, you are mistaken, because by you disenfranchising yourself, you're literally participating in the system exactly the way the system wants you to participate. So I am asking you to take a small effort and use the levers of the system to sabotage it if that's what if sabotaging the system is what you want to do. Now, if a third party, if the Jill Stein campaign, if the Greens get 5% of the vote, that's all they need, they will automatically be on the ballot in the next election. They will automatically get funding for the next election. Right now, all of their effort, all of their money is going into just trying to get on the ballot because the Democrats are sabotaging them at every turn. Now, so the American people, when I say you are conditioned to live in this emergency mode, it's because most Americans every month have to make these urgent decisions. They have created situations in which families have to choose between paying the rent or paying for their insulin, between sending their kids to violent schools or just letting them stay at home and be ignorized. These are the urgent situations that people live in on a regular basis. So it feels familiar when you feel this urgency. I'm asking you to, for once, stand on principle, because if you can't do that, if you, in this time of genocide, in this time of Holocaust, if you cannot stand on principle, you have already lost. There's no working within this system. Palestinians, that Arabs, that Muslims can ever gain power in this country is by making your presence felt. And if you now, while we're all watching this live genocide, if you decide that you're gonna fall in line, they will do anything to you. You are literally telling them that you will fall in line, that you can genocide. You can make us watch our babies burn to death, their brains spilling out of their heads, but we're gonna go and vote for you. That is the only message you are sending. And I beg of you to not do that. I beg of you to not betray the hundreds of thousands of dead Palestinians, because that is what you're going to be doing.
And to send a strong message, but what you have to do, please, if I can just say, this is what you have to do, it is to vote, and it is to be involved. It is to show them that our voice matters, and we're going to out-organize you, and you need us. Okay, and that is our fight now. The students hopefully will talk also a lot about what they're doing, but it is their power, and it was their idea, and they showed tremendous organizing power. And if the Democrats really knew what was best for them, because they're always saying, how do we get young people more involved? Because you go to these Democratic Party meetings, whatever, and they're all old people, and they're just a handful of people not knowing how to get more people involved. These students brought up, my campaign brought them hundreds of excited new members, and they kicked us out, basically with the message that we don't want you. Just the same message that we got a week earlier at the DNC when they wouldn't even give 2 minutes to a Palestinian speaker to give a very mild speech endorsing Kamala, like they couldn't even do that. So we're getting the message from the Democratic Party loud and clear. Okay, we're getting it loud and clear, but we're not accepting that. No, we're not going to vote for you now, but we're going to out-organize you, and we are going to be the party.
But to directly attack them. When the genocide started, there were walkouts. My children, along with others across the United States, went on walkouts. Within minutes, I get an email, and many did as well, that there were anti-Semitic activities or words or whatever on school campuses. There were none. They were there, these young kids standing up for the Palestinian people, for Palestinian children, for Palestinians in general. That is, they were watching a genocide. And the Palestinians who were marching, many of them have family in Palestine. So it's not just an academic and freedom of speech issue, it's a personal issue. And then for the parents to get an email accusing these children who are brave, who wanted to show support for a just cause, to do the right thing, were attacked by the principals. And not just by the principals, by the way. This is systemic. It's all the way at the top, trickling down. Do not let them do this. If you are a parent, get engaged. Talk to the principals of your schools. Engage with your superintendents. Write to your schools, write to the superintendents and to your school boards. Because the attack is on the curriculum, but the attack is also on school campuses. They were banned from wearing the colors of the Palestinian flag on their jackets after October 7th. These are our future. They want to intimidate and silence them before they even had a chance to walk on their own outside of the school system. Engage, please bring attention to this and expose them when they do it. If you need help, if there is anyone that's experiencing this, please reach out, we can help. There are organizations in states, but also ADC as well. So this is really important to me.